Hey. So, Sebastian, the TO or one of the event organizers for the tournament in Santiago, Chile, sent me all the table layouts that they have planned, which is a nice occasion to talk about table layouts. So, I'm going to do that with you guys today. Let's look at what they're planning, and we can sort of, as we see their tables, we can sort of talk about is this good and what is, what do we need? Right, so this is the first table layout I want to talk about. It's an airport. You can see that there are 4 airplanes here. For me, this would be a little light on cover. We've got a few roads leading into it, and the roads are broken, so you can't rush in a single straight line, which is always what you want to have happen. But if we count up the pieces of terrain here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These grey ones are buildings. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then the wall here should be maybe 15. So 15 pieces of terrain. Very adequate for version 2. For me, I think this is an open table for version 3. There's a lot of line. I mean, look at this side here. If you're stranded in this corner, you'll be shot to pieces. Whereas the opposite corner here is actually kind of good. So there's a lot to be said for choosing sides in this on this table. I at least know which side I would want to be on and where I would want the objectives and the fighting to be. So does a tournament table need to be equal for both sides? No, not at all. Some tournaments do that. I've played in a lot of tournaments. The WTC does that, but it doesn't need to be equal for both sides. It can absolutely be a little skewed, because that means that the first dice roll, who gets to pick sides, actually does matter. So I like that. Right, let's see the next one. It is this one. So here we have a river. It has a couple of crossings across it, which I think you should do. And I can't remember how they're playing rivers. Normally they're played as rough ground at least, but that does mean that the table is cut into 2 parts, right? It does make for an interesting tactical game, but typically it won't be a very it will be sometimes a little lopsided, right? The number of terrain here is, again, a little low for me personally, for what I think version 3 should have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and these at the very edge are not very useful at all, because they are not giving you cover. If you get this side over here, you're basically exposed to anything that the opponent has. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus some, whatever this is, bushes or similar, it says in the terrain table over here. So it may obscure and it will give some cover. And it's difficult terrain. That's not a massive amount, and this small ruin on each side doesn't give a lot of cover. For me, I would always push line of sight blockers, forest and stuff a little into the table, because that means that the person deploying that area can at least get behind that cover when they're deploying, right? So again, for me, this is a very open one, but it is supposed to be Africa, so yeah, Then we have this one, and this has bocage blocking line of sight, which is very nice for deployment. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of bocage. This one a little small. We have a hedge over here. 5, 6, 7 lines here. These lines are walls. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Lots of houses as well. This is a nice V3 table for me. 17 pieces of terrain, lots of line of sight blockers, lots of linear obstacles to give hard cover. The roads are maybe a little little too even, maybe a little, but not massively so. And it does create tactical dilemmas, because do you move all the way up and look through the bocage, or do you stay behind it? That bocage is going to give you a lot of cover to play with. Yeah, I like this table a lot. I like the layout as well. Which side would I choose? Ooh, that's an interesting one. That really depends on whether I would want to use that house or not. And if you get sectors deployment, this sector here is maybe a little more open than that sector over here. This is definitely the best sector to be in if you get sectors deployment, for me at least. That sector over here, really, really nice. Right. So that was the third table. Let's look at the next one. This was Normandy. Looks very Normandy to me. And then we have Finland. So the Winter War here. This is... Oh, this is open. Oh, well, you do have trenches, right? The trench systems I like. I also build a lot of trench systems for my table because they're really cool and so iconic. Do they cover everything? Difficult terrain. Infantry can traverse. No, they don't. They're not tall enough to give line of sight blocking cover, I think. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ruins, 6, 7 ruins. Oh, this is an open table. Oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a lot. Anyone leaving those trenches are dead on this table. That's just going to happen. You're going to get shot to pieces. Artillery will absolutely dominate this table. So the gun lines, we saw a lot of gun lines in the Chilean list meta. They're going to want this table because that is really good for them. But infantry on this table, oh, that is going to struggle. They're going to sit in the trenches and go down for the whole game, basically, because they can't move out. Then we have this one, which is Russia, and not winter Russia, but summer Russia, I'm guessing. So we have a couple of very large fields areas. We have one forest over here, one down there, again pushed all the way to the edge. I don't like that, personally, I don't. A lot of buildings, I like that. A couple of ruins, a couple of hedges. Yeah, this works for me. This really works. It's a nice table. It's not equal, but you have got buildings in both of these quarters here. Sectors, you're maybe at a disadvantage if you start in this sector, but then again, this sector is not really good either. So anyone who gets a sector's deployment in this one, I would suggest either taking this sector or that sector. These are the good sectors. I think maybe this one is even... Is that a little bit better? But, you got 2 easy roads out of this. Oh, depends. Yeah, maybe I'd take this one. But again, a nice setup. And I do think this has enough area terrain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16... 17, 18-ish. 18 pieces of terrain. Bang on what I want for my tables. Love it. Very cool. Then we have an Italian village here. Ooh, that's a lot of... See, this is a good setup because you get all the houses in the center. They will block a lot of line of sight. That will enable your movement. The troops that you have will be able to move up. But at the same time, there are sneaky peeks down the lines here where you can get lines of fire for your stationary AA gun that you station down here in the back lines. I like this. The forest also pushed a little further from the back lines. This over here is going to be a kill zone, though, simply because those fields are not going to save many of your troops, right? And one thing, if you have anything like an envelopment type scenario, that road, it should be blocked somewhere around here, I think. Otherwise, you get vehicles leaving the first turn. Again, very nice. Very, very nice. So that was the Italian one. Then we have this one, which is the Dutch one. We have a canal running down. We have houses here. And you can get some really nice Dutch houses in MDF types. This side here has clearly been busted up. There are ruins over here. A couple of forests to cover that. I think this forest should be out, as do I with this one, out from the edge. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, maybe 17 with that linear. I think a few more linear obstacles, maybe a couple of walls around, like a back garden or backyard for these houses, maybe. Could both give a tactical sort of thing to play for, especially down this corner here. This is very open, right? You're deploying into this corner and you're deploying in the open. As with this one up here, at least you get the cover from the corn. This corner here is nice, right? This is nice to deploy in, as is this one. Really nice corners. Right. And that was the Dutch one. Then we have this one, which is Germany. Okay, so we have some buildings in what is a city of some sort. Looks a little bit ruined. We've got a lot of hard walls here, and then we've got some houses still standing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then walls. This is a good area. The road here, again, a little bit open. Should have some sort of blocker in the middle, and it could just be, an improvised little bunch of stuff, barricade, just so that vehicles don't just drive down the road. These hedges are completely open, and this is a killing field. No one is going to deploy here if they are sane. So for me, this is too open. We have 6, 7 buildings. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 13, 14 pieces of terrain. It's an open table for me. Very open. Very V2, but I don't think it'll work very, very well. This at least if you're going to this tournament, please notice how many people actually deploy and move on this side of the board, right? Is this just for show, or is it even being used? I predict that it won't be used for much maneuver, and I'm not a huge fan of that. And then we have this one. Ooh, this is a nice setup. Look at that. We've got roads running in. We've got 2 roads running from each table edge. Love that. These forests, again, I would push a little bit in. And then these buildings are going to block line of sight. We've got a ruin over here. We've got loads of hedges along the buildings, walls, along the roads. Got a forest over here. I think this has enough terrain, and still is open enough for vehicles to move around somewhat. This I really like. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20-ish pieces of terrain. Very nice. And it could be a little too cluttered. I mean, I think I would make sure that some vehicles could get around these fields here, just to make sure that the movement is possible. The same over on this side, because otherwise movement is just going to be on the road for wheeled vehicles, and that can be a little bit limiting. But I really like this setup. Sebastian, thank you so much for sending these to me, and good luck to everyone going today. Cheers.